let's talk a little bit about trumpetology.
Mm-hmm.
And trumpetology is a rhythm section with 5 trumpets.
5, yeah.
And most people playing jazz, and most people, when you say that, they go, "Oh, it's super sax with trumpets." But having talked to you, having a copy of your CD, having heard the band live, it's not super sax with trumpets.
Right.
Explain discuss, but also
Right.
the concept and why you're doing the band and where you'd like that band to play.
Sure.
And that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think, okay, so first, right, like super sax, I mean, I can relate it. It's easy for me to relate it to super sax in the way that it's like, well, there were 5 saxes, we're 5 trumpets, you know. They're playing harmonized bird solos, we're playing harmonized solos. The big difference is that you know, I'm trying to find ways of creating new arrangements that showcase old solos or famous solos, you know, like, you know, we do Chet Baker's Autumn Leaves, right? But, you know, okay, but I'm going to do it just like the CTI recording in some ways, right? So we're going to do Chet's solo, which is an amazing solo, harmonized out for 5 guys, and I'm going to put the tag on it, and we're going to do it down a whole step. But after I get past that, it's my arrangement, right? And I'm going to do that. And then for other tunes, it's just completely my arrangement. And that's kind of where we differ, certainly in the super sax, outside the fact that, you know, it's trumpets, so it's way better, right? But you know, what it comes down to, you know, for me is the group came out of the fact that I know that jazz music can reach more people, and we see our jazz audience dwindle, right? Yet I see in education, I see tons of kids playing jazz, you know? I see tons of kids being exposed to that music by, you know, great band directors, you know, like fighting this good fight in the trenches, teaching these kids this music. And so to me, the original thought was, okay, I want to do something different. I want to just do, I mean, I write big band charts, love writing big band charts, but I want to do something different. I want to do something that can create its own little niche, you know? And so a buddy of mine kind of had told me that up in Seattle, there's this band with 5 trumpets, and they play once a year, you know? And I had this gig on International Jazz Day, which incidentally was on April 1st, 2010. So I actually did think it was an April Fool's joke at first. It was the very first one. But you know, International Jazz Day, and they're like, yeah, you know, we want you to do it. It was down at SC, and we're gonna broadcast it on the SC radio station, and we're gonna record it and put it on the little, and we're gonna make a video of it too, you know. And so I said, okay, and came up with this idea, you know. So we wrote some arrangements and we did it. And what I realized was, it quickly became obvious that it was a way to reach out to different levels of jazz fans and jazz listeners, right? So you have the improvisational solo aspect, right, which really speaks to the true jazz enthusiast, the trained jazz musician, the jazz educator, where you're listening to 5 different guys with 5 different voices. And so I wanted to highlight that, you know, the fact that everybody is going to bring something new to the table, going to bring a different style, different sound, going to bring all of their own shared experiences, and they're going to do improvisation. But the second way is the fact that, you know, it's still 5 trumpets like going at it, you know, and there's elements of big band, and there's elements of small group, and there's, you know, like, because of the band and because of the way it is, and how I've sort of developed my writing style with it, I've learned how I can cross those boundaries, you know? So maybe somebody can't really get into listening to an improvisation because they're not really sure what to listen to. Okay, that's understandable, but, you know, they know what high notes are, right? They know what a technically difficult harmonized solo is, right? Because we all sat in band in 7th grade and tried to play that, right? So because of that, I feel like the ensemble can reach out to a really broad range of individuals, you know? And we've had a lot of really good luck with that, you know, and bringing jazz and exposing people to these great tunes and, you know, this songbook, but exposing to them in such a way that doesn't have to be so watered down, you know, like so watered down that it's, you know, it's a generic educational chart. There can be substance there while at the same time still allowing people to get into it, and so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to expose everyone to jazz music because it's truly our art form. It's an American art form, you know. It comes from the strife of what it means to be American, and race, culture, ethnicity, spirituality, all of that comes together to create this music, and for it to dwindle as much as it has is really disappointing to me as a jazz musician. So that's really kind of what I like to focus on, and that's the point of the thing, is to get the music out there.
So having run a large, I'm going to say an ensemble about the same size as yours, because I had an R&B and blues band that was 9-piece, and trying to book that in Los Angeles, and hearkening back to what we were talking about earlier.
Sure.
What kind of, I'm not expecting you to give someone a course here in 5 minutes about how to promote a band or how to book a band, but are there any resources that you can think of, or things someone should start looking at? You learned the way I learned, Hard Knocks.
Sure.
Make the phone call, not interested. Make a package, didn't work.
Sure.
Try this, try that, go to the club, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Yes, I promise we'll have 40 people.
Right.
Oh, there were only 39.
Yep.
Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
Is there
absolutely.
Because I agree with you 100% that that's a big part of it.
Right.
You have to have a great product. You have to be a great player. You have to have a great band, whatever it is. But you have to let people know about it.
Right.
It's the same with the Stomby instruments. We can have the best trumpet on the planet, and some say we do.
Right.
But if people don't know about it, it doesn't mean anything.
That's absolutely right.
So is there any marketing advice you can give either a trumpet players themselves or someone trying to book a band? Or?
Sure. I mean, I think, so, like what you're saying, I still think, this is true for everything. So there's a baseline, right? And that baseline is good player, good hang, shows up on time, right? Okay, that's like a baseline of if you do that, that's just generally expected, right? I mean, that's, if you show up, that's what everybody expects. So, and the same thing goes for if you got a band or whatever, that you're going to take care of business musically, right? Otherwise, why would you do it in the first place? Marketing, in my opinion, first and foremost comes out to, if someone puts your name or your band's name into Google or into Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram or on Snapchat or whatever, okay, if they go, can they find you? Right? Okay, so that's first and foremost, right? If somebody's willing to take the time, which, just think about yourself, right? And how much you're marketed to throughout the day, right? If you take the time to actually sit down and type something into Google to search for, that alone is you've won, right? You've won if somebody types your name in or your band's name in, right? But you better have your stuff there, right? So that's first and foremost, is where's your content, After that, it comes down, I think the next level of it is you have to get your content out there. So you got to be pushing your content at all times. I think again, this harkens back to treating ourselves more like a business and what we need to teach more of. People, and sometimes it feels kind of weird and awkward to me, and I that's something personally I always need to get over. But people don't know you exist, don't know your band exists, unless you go out and you tell them you exist, right? Major corporations, they put their name in front of you all the time, right? Okay, you have to do that, and you have to be out there, and you have to, let people know, let people know that you exist, you got to have your CDs, you got to have your website, you got to have your cards, and you got to be out on the scene, and you got to be like, hey, this is happening, right? And you find out the kind of stuff you want to do, and you go and you market to those people, right? And then you let your playing do the rest of the work, which, should be, I'm sure if you're at that point is killing, the final aspect of it is getting to club owners and getting to festivals and getting to, if you're going to get to band directors and schools and stuff. And for me, I mean, that is just hard. It's hard grunt work on the ground, going out, shaking hands, meeting people, showing them what it's all about, and doing that. And you got to do it with the same person. You got to do it 5-10 times before they're going to call you and be like, hey, yeah, you want to come to my club, come play at my club for $50 a guy, Now does that seem like a great payoff? Okay, yeah, I mean it's not going to pay your mortgage, but you're going to get your music out there, and and that means there's something for you to promote, There's something for people to come out to. There's something for you to sell your CDs at. There's something for you to push, and really get your product out there. And the product in this case being trumpetology, or being my trumpet playing or my writing, right? And you know, I mean, I think that's a big thing. I mean, I've heard tons of guys say that they won't take gigs unless they pay a certain amount of money, and I mean, I'm like, you know, I love that. You know, I think those guys are great, but I don't do it. You know, I mean, I take every gig I can because I love playing the trumpet. You know, and that I mean, yeah, it's my business, but like I also want to like go out and make music. You know.